Wisconsin's road to recovery hitting a bit of a bump with cases again on the rise. Plus, a shooting in a busy Washington, D.C. neighborhood put schools on lockdown and triggered a massive police response. And later, a playoff answer to their Game 2 loss as the Bucks run the Bulls off the court in Chicago. Highlights from Game 3 coming up right now on News 3 Now at 10. And thanks for joining us tonight. For the second straight year, COVID was the third leading cause of death in the U.S. in 2021. That's according to data released today by the CDC. Only heart disease and cancer killed more Americans last year. In Wisconsin, nearly 6,000 people died from the virus last year. More than 14,000 Wisconsinites have died since the start of the pandemic. And that report comes the same day Dane County moved in the wrong direction, back up to a medium level of COVID activity as defined by the CDC. As Logan Reigstead explains, health officials are not yet sounding the alarm.
Our rise in case activity has been happening for more than a few weeks, and our hospitalizations have stayed relatively low.
And as of today, Dane County is now one of 3 counties in the state sitting at the medium level of COVID-19 in the community, according to the CDC.
Although we are not nearly at the levels that we have been before, we're starting to see just a slight uptick in our numbers of hospitalized patients. We haven't had any changes to our day-to-day operations right now.
One of the metrics the CDC now uses to calculate a community's COVID level is the percent of staffed inpatient beds being used by COVID patients, which in Dane County is 1.6%. Health officials say rising case numbers can predict an increase in COVID hospitalizations, so keeping those who test positive healthy enough to stay out of the hospital is key.
It's not necessarily meant to alarm our communities, but it's meant for us to start thinking about what are the things we need to do, which we all know, to reduce transmission.
And while health officials continue to urge people to get vaccinated and boosted, there's an increased push to treat patients early after they test positive, especially now that treatments are easier to come by. And Dr. Amy Franta from SSM Health says they're being underutilized.
So it doesn't replace vaccination, but it's another tool.
So that those protective factors that we have available to us, high vaccination rates, good access to treatments, and probably some immunity from previous COVID infection is keeping severe outcomes from achieving levels that we've seen in the past. And we really want that to be the thing that continues.
In Madison, Logan Reigstead, News 3 Now.
Earlier this week, UW Health and Unity Point Meriter Hospitals announced plans to loosen visitor restrictions, which SSM Health did last month. The hospitals say they're not making any immediate changes to those policies, despite these higher community levels of COVID. We turn it over to weather now. Temperatures on the rise. They'll top out tomorrow. So how warm will it get tomorrow? Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Well, Eric, first a little weather lesson. You know, there's an old saying, rainbow in morning, sailor take warning. Take a look at this picture. This is from Chuck Bayek in the town of Westport, taking a picture of a rainbow this morning. Now, when you see a morning rainbow, the sun's got to be to your east. You have to have the sun at your back to see the rainbow. You're looking toward the rain. Rain moves from west to east, meaning it's moving toward you. Well, take a look at the time lapse. There's the sunshine right on the far eastern horizon as the rain was starting here on the west side. And then after that, the rain moved in, and we had clouds and rain pretty much all day today. Kept temperatures down, but most of the rain now is moving out over Lake Michigan. Some thunderstorms even brought hail into parts of Rock County, but those storms now out over Lake Michigan, dissipating pretty quickly. We're looking for skies to clear overnight. Temperatures right now are high temperatures around 50 in Madison, warmer to the southwest, colder to the north and east. Right now it's still 49 in Madison, but those temperatures haven't changed very much, and they're actually going to start rising overnight. So by tomorrow morning we'll be around 58 with bright sunshine and brisk southerly winds. Temperatures will be up close to 80 degrees by late tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy the weather while you can, because by Monday we'll be back in the 40s. More in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
Be advised, I'm on the scene of an active shooter. Person shot in the alleyway.
A developing story. Police in D.C. say a person of interest has been found dead after a barrage of gunfire erupted in a busy northwest Washington, D.C. neighborhood. Police said 2 adults and a juvenile were shot and transported to the hospital. A 4th victim grazed in the back by a bullet and was treated at the scene. With schools, embassies, and apartment buildings in that neighborhood, the shooting triggered a massive response by law enforcement. Police are warning people to stay inside because of the threat. It's been nearly a month since 2.7 million chickens were killed and buried following a bird flu outbreak on the Cold Springs Egg Farm in Jefferson County. Those chickens were buried on a site in Palmyra nearly a month ago, but there is a new concern: the smell. We heard from a couple of neighbors there today.
a god-awful smell. It just smells like death. And it's constantly, when that west wind blows straight to the east, I can't even stand it myself.
We don't know when this is going to go away. I'm assuming it's going to take quite a while to rot 2.7 million birds.
The DNR says the last pile of birds was constructed last weekend, and the piles will remain composting for approximately 28 days from that time. Another Republican candidate throwing his hat into a crowded gubernatorial primary today. Business owner Tim Michels filing the paperwork today. Michels, who ran unsuccessfully for U.S. Senate 18 years ago, joins former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish, former Marine Kevin Nicholson, and State Representative Tim Rampton on the ticket. The primary, August 9th, the winner will advance to face Governor Evers. And in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has officially signed a bill to dissolve Walt Disney World's private government after the entertainment giant criticized a measure that critics have dubbed the Don't Say Gay law. The law would eliminate the Reedy Creek Improvement District, as the 55-year-old Disney government is known, as well as a handful of other similar districts by June of 2023. The measure does allow for the districts to be reestablished, leaving an avenue to renegotiate its future. A bombshell in Washington tonight. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy caught in a lie after saying on tape that he was ready to ask President Trump to resign from office following the Capitol insurrection on January 6th. CBS's Scott McFarland has these new details.
Newly released phone calls show Kevin McCarthy told fellow House Republicans shortly after the U.S. Capitol attack Donald Trump had acknowledged bearing some blame for it.
He told me he does have some responsibility for what happened. And he needs to acknowledge that.
Authors of the new book, This Will Not Pass, have released a series of clips of McCarthy's phone calls with fellow Republicans from the days after the insurrection. In one call, McCarthy expressed frustration with the former president.
I've had it with this guy. What he did is unacceptable. Nobody can defend that, and nobody should defend it.
In another, McCarthy said he was considering asking Trump to resign.
It would be my recommendation you should resign. That would be my take, but I don't think he would take it.
McCarthy is now being accused of being deceitful, as he said he didn't remember the earlier phone call. Those comments made less than 3 weeks before he made this pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago.
I'm not sure what call you're talking about, so.
And he had denied ever recommending Trump should resign. Several members of the January 6th committee tell CBS News they've long sought an interview with McCarthy and said the audio shows McCarthy could shed light on Trump's mindset. Why is that revelation important to your committee?
I think it is very important that Kevin McCarthy has evidence the former president acknowledged bearing some responsibility for that attack on the Capitol. This is an admission of guilt by the former president.
A subpoena to the House Republican leader could trigger a legal dispute, and time is running short. The committee hopes to have public hearings next month.
We do feel a sense of urgency.
Because the hearings will tell a story that will really blow the roof off the House.
The House Select January 6th committee says it has already collected hundreds of interviews and tens of thousands of documents. Scott McFarland, CBS News, the Capitol.
McCarthy's office didn't respond to requests for comment. No response to the audio either from former President Trump. A traffic note for early next week, starting Monday, April 25th at 7 a.m. at the intersection of Odana Road at Deerholt Road. It'll be closed for construction. That's right near Seago Road. That closure is needed to connect new sanitary and storm sewer utilities. It's expected to be closed for more than a week through the end of the day on Tuesday, May 3rd. That's video from earlier in the week. The UW Varsity Band preparing for its first spring concert since the start of the pandemic. Tonight was night one at the Kohl Center. This evening's performance wrapped up about a half hour ago, but there's still a chance to check it out tomorrow. Starts at 7:30. It's about 2 hours in length. Tickets $25, $15 if you're a UW student, and all proceeds benefit the Badger Band program. Today also marks the first day of the return of the Midwest Horse Fair since the pandemic. And a reminder, if you're planning to drive down by the Alliant Energy Center over the weekend, expect some backups and delays. It's the largest 3-day horse fair in America. It includes 300 clinics, seminars, educational events presented by some of the top horse professionals from around the country. Things will wrap up on Sunday. In honor of Earth Day, Metcalf's Market at Hilldale in Madison debuting some chargers for folks with electric cars. This continues the trend of more EV chargers being installed all across the country. Hilldale has more Earth Day events throughout the day tomorrow as well. Holman now home to the first electric vehicle fast charger at a Wisconsin Quick Trip location. Dairyland Power helped fund and install this charger. According to Dairyland, the fast charger is 3 times faster than the average charger.
It really suits the convenience store model that allows them to come in for a short time, get their donut, their coffee, their lunch, and hit the road with 20, 30, 40 miles back in their battery to get them to their garage.
Dairyland will install a second fast charger in Stewartville, Minnesota later this spring. A recall notice tonight. Best Buy is recalling Insignia air fryers and air fryer ovens over some safety issues. The company says some of them can overheat and pose a potential fire hazard. Best Buy says it's received nearly 100 reports of the fryers and ovens catching fire in the U.S. and Canada. Customers are advised to stop using these products and return them to Best Buy for a refund. And still to come tonight, a much-needed warm-up tomorrow. Gary will have all the details, but first, it's all about Earth Day and its origins right here in Wisconsin. We'll be right back.
The biggest thing that Gruber Law Offices did for me was put my mind at ease. Whatever questions I had, they answered them. They answered them honestly, timely.
If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They handled everything.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Double up on savings exclusively at Grand Appliance during the Spring Savings Double Up Sale. Get double rebates on select purchases of our most popular appliance and grill brands and unbeatable package deals. Like this Frigidaire 4-piece kitchen with counter depth refrigerator for just $23.92. Or this LG 4-piece kitchen for just $29.36. Shop your local showroom or grandappliance.com. Grand Appliance. You make it home, we make it grand.
Hello, spring. Hello, savings. Now at the Century House. Save hundreds with a free leather upgrade. Or get $300 off stressless Mike and Max motorized recliners with a soft rocking motion that provides instant comfort. And $300 off the new 50th anniversary retro stressless Royal recliner. Available with the iconic stressless original base. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
People said we couldn't run a successful business using progressive values, but that's exactly what we did. That's how we built the Bucks Arena. We made sure our minority and women-owned businesses were able to grow with it, paying good wages, using materials made in Wisconsin, all done in an environmentally sustainable way. That's the type of thinking we need in the U.S. Senate. We're not going to just talk about issues. I'm going to go to Washington and deliver. I'm Alex Lazary, and I approve this message.
I was completely satisfied with Gruber Law Offices.
Ralph needed the legal experience of Gruber Law Offices.
Complete satisfaction. It was one call, that's all, and after that, everything was taken care of.
Need to know what the traffic is like before you hit the road? Get the Channel 3000 app now, and I'll tell you where the trouble spots are and how to get around them. The Channel 3000 app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Since Earth Day started back in 1970, on average, more than 1 billion people across the globe mobilized for action on Earth Day. But did you know the first Earth Day was right here in Wisconsin? Senator Gaylord Nelson was concerned for the deteriorating environment and saw how energized that college students were for the anti-war movement. Nelson, a Democrat, got Republican Congressman Pete McCloskey on board to help organize a national day for campus teach-ins regarding the environment. They chose today, April 22nd, because it fell between spring break and final exams, hoping it would maximize participation. In that first year, more than 20 million people took part and took action for the already hurting environment. And in honor of Earth Day, a new public art project is unveiled today in the UW Arboretum. The sculpture series is called Canopy Understories, created by a couple of Madison-based artists, UW alums. They're made up of lightweight materials used by the aviation industry and held aloft by a metallic cable and hardware developed for rock climbing.
Some people call these helicopters. These are the Samara seed pods that fall from our Wisconsin state tree, the sugar maple. And they represent color in motion through art. So these are sculptures highlighting that process.
A second sculpture in the series will be unveiled next Friday. They'll be on display through next April and can be enjoyed in all seasons for the upcoming year. Governor Tony Evers marked the occasion to announce he's creating an Office of Environmental Justice that'll work to mitigate the effects of pollution and climate change and how those impact underserved Wisconsinites the most. Governor Evers initially included it in his budget proposal, but Republicans in the legislature took it out before passing the budget. So today the governor instead created it through executive order. Well, check this out. New video from the Milwaukee County Zoo. They say they're using old fire hoses here, repurposing them to enrich the animal experience at the zoo. And you can see they're a pretty big hit with the animals there. According to the zoo, those hoses were donated by the Wauwatosa Fire Department. As wildfires continue to burn out west, President Biden spent Earth Day in Seattle, where he was detailing a new executive order to protect our nation's forests. He campaigned on combating climate change as a top priority, but some environmental groups say the president's record so far falls short. Natalie Brand has more.
With firefighters predicting a higher wildfire risk this spring and summer, President Biden is using this Earth Day to unveil a new plan to make federal forests more resilient.
I just think this is the beginning of a new day.
Under the president's new executive order, federal agencies will conduct a first-ever inventory of old-growth forests on federal lands within a year and develop policies to protect older trees, key to fighting climate change because they can store more carbon, though the order does not ban the logging of older trees.
Scientists estimate that the protection and restoration of our natural lands and waters can provide more than 1/3 of the solution to climate change.
But the president has been criticized by some environmental groups as his most ambitious climate proposals remain stalled in Congress.
We've been frustrated with President Biden and the administration's unwillingness to use the full might of the federal government to address climate change.
Eric Pica of Friends of the Earth is especially critical of recent actions announced by the Biden administration to address high gas prices, such as resuming new leases for drilling on federal lands.
Is only 1 year into his administration. There's still a lot of promise in what they could do.
We need Congress to act as well.
Friday, the president again called on Congress to act on legislation to fight climate change and curb energy costs. But time could run out if Republicans take control of Congress in November's midterm elections. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Today, the president also touted provisions from the bipartisan physical infrastructure law, which includes over $1.5 billion for state, local, and tribal forestation programs. Well, let's go to Gary now with a closer look at how things have changed in our climate since that first Earth Day.
52 years ago, we had our first Earth Day, and of course, climate change is a big part of the Earth Day work that we're doing because as the global temperature starts to increase, we start to see more variability in the weather. Across the United States, the warming over the last 52 years has been more pronounced across the northeastern and southwestern portions of the country and Alaska. Alaska actually has had the worst climate change, over a 4-degree increase in average temperature since 1970 because of the effects of climate change. This is from our friends over at Climate Central. And you can see here in Madison, our temperature has increased 3.1 degrees over that time period. The state of Wisconsin, a little less than 3 degrees, and the United States as a whole, about 2.5 degrees. 3 things you need to know in our forecast. We are looking for a big warm up for tomorrow. Temperatures go from the 40s and 50s today to the upper 70s for tomorrow. Then we'll see some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into early Sunday morning, and that's followed by a return to below normal temperatures at the beginning part of next week. Most of southern Wisconsin free of precipitation right now. There were some thunderstorms that developed between Madison and Janesville, even brought some hail into eastern portions of Rock County. Those storms out over Lake Michigan and diminishing pretty rapidly in intensity. Not much to our west. Severe thunderstorms developing now over parts of central South Dakota. That's where the next batch of severe weather is occurring. Rainfall so far, about an inch from Madison southward. Some areas up around 1.5 inches of rain, and areas to the north, generally about a 1/2 inch to an inch of rain. Rainfall for tomorrow night into early Sunday morning, probably around 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch most areas, but we will see some areas that pick up 1/2 inch to 1 inch or more in heavier thunderstorms. Severe weather threat for tomorrow, highest out to the west across Minnesota and Iowa. Slight risk of severe weather, level 2 there. Marginal risk to around the La Crosse area, but those storms should be weakening as they push into southern Wisconsin. Keep your fingers crossed. I think we'll probably miss most of the severe weather tomorrow. High temperatures today, 40s to around 50 here. Take a look at Des Moines, Iowa. Not far to our south and west, near 80 degrees. And temperatures were near 100 degrees in central Nebraska, whereas northern North Dakota stayed in the 30s. That is about almost a 70-degree temperature contrast over the space of about 2 states. And you can see current temperatures are in the 40s to around 50 here. Des Moines, though, still at 72. Omaha, Nebraska, 76. So it's much warmer to the south and west. And also that warm air now starting to transport moisture northward. Dew points are in the 60s through much of central and western Iowa. And that's what will fuel our thunderstorms for tomorrow night. You can see them erupting late this afternoon into this evening across parts of Nebraska, Kansas, and then in the vicinity of that warm front. That's the dividing line between the cooler air that we have here and temperatures that are still in the 60s and 70s across much of Iowa. Tomorrow, we're on the warm side of the warm front. Temperatures up to around 78 with brisk southerly winds. Should be dry during the day. Future track actually has us clearing out late tonight with temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60. Upper 70s for tomorrow. Then the thunderstorms move in tomorrow night into early Sunday morning. The winds shift to the west and southwest. Temperatures stay nearly steady in the middle 60s for Sunday. Again, those rainfall amounts 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. A few areas to get a heavier thunderstorm, a little bit more than that. But no doubt the temperatures are going to drop off after that. Highs only in the 40s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Mid-50s at the end of next week when we see some rain chances, but temperatures should be in the lower 60s by that point.
Game 3 looking very different from the other night. We got highlights from the Bucks and Bulls coming up next in sports.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Dear gas prices, Toyota's hybrid lineup says, go take a hike. Because we bring efficiency with power and savings with style. Think you can stand in our way? We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance.
Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
A trucking accident can be devastating and complex. Gingras, Thompson & Walk's law firm wants you to be informed. From the freight and trucking companies to the owner-operators, the liability can be unclear. Too many victims settle without understanding their rights. You need a law team like GTW, who has a history of winning cases with large settlements for victims, to investigate and advocate for you. Contact GTW lawyers for a free consultation. All in to win. Gingras, Thompson & Walks.
No way. Gary got the skag. Oh, look at that thing mow. I wonder if he'll let me borrow it. Yep, mower envy. I gotta get one too.
The moment you know you want a skag. Skag. Simply the best.
In Madison at Overture Hall. Get tickets at overture.org.
With broken supply chains and lives disrupted, businesses like Amazon have invested to deliver on time for you and help hundreds of thousands of small businesses gain access to millions of online shoppers. But Washington politicians have a law that could break Prime's guaranteed 2-day free delivery and threaten our fragile economic recovery. Tell your senators, don't break our Prime. Oppose S 2992. Paid for by CCIA.
It's time. Get back to your health and fitness goals by joining Anytime Fitness for just $1. Now through May 2nd. Get a coach, get going, get fit. Join Anytime Fitness for just $1. Now through May 2nd. Hurry in today.
The home of Wisconsin's favorite wine, Prairie Fumé. the Wallersheim Old Fashioned. Scarlet Fumé is back. Find it and other Wallersheim wines and spirits at your favorite Wisconsin stores. Cheers to 50 years and many more to come.
Bucks looking to bounce back after Wednesday night, and really it's a twofold bounce back. Of course, getting a win in Chicago, but also filling Chris Middleton's role since he's out the rest of the series. But it didn't take long for the Bucks to settle into this one tonight. Bobby Portis and Grayson Allen lighting it up in the first quarter, and Allen, he's loving the 3-ball tonight, drills 3 in a row. That helps the Bucks pull away early. And between solid defense and dunks like this one from Giannis, the Deer are able to make it a 25-point game late in the first half. And unlike Game 1's hot start, the Bucks keep up the momentum tonight. 3 starters finish in double figures. Allen leads the way with 20, and the Bucks win by 30. Wisconsin and Nebraska were supposed to play Game 1 of their 3-game series today, but Mother Nature had other plans. That rain pushed the series opener to tomorrow, so now it's a doubleheader on Saturday starting at noon, and Sunday's finale is still set for 1 o'clock. The Big Ten, the big thing to watch with these two is how the Badgers pitching handles the Huskers' high-powered offense. Nebraska is putting up nearly 8 runs per game in conference play this season, but Yvette Healy likes her best against their bats.
I love our pitchers against them. You know, we do a nice job changing speeds, but it's going to be just a physical back-and-forth game. I love the fight from our pitchers that I told them, get ready for a 9-7 ball game, and they were fired up. They did not like that scouting report that they said we'll see, and so I think I've already poked the bear, and Maddie Schwartz is ready to come out and ready for that battle.
Brewers taking their 4-game win streak to Philadelphia. The Phillies are already up 1-0. Brew Crew in prime position to tie this one up. Hunter Renfroe with a sac fly to right. That scores Willie Adames. And it's still tied in the 7th inning. Andrew McCutchen, he jumps at the opportunity for that go-ahead run, sends it the opposite way for the lead. And on the bump tonight, it's Freddie Peralta. He goes 5 innings, only gives up 1 run. But the Phillies, they come back and strike late in this game, and they go on to take the opener 4-2. Spring football is officially in the books for the Badgers, and the best part about this time of the year to Paul Chryst is that it's a perfect time to make mistakes, correct them, and then don't do them again. Case in point, Graham Mertz. His mindset and arm talent are there, but the consistent part hasn't been. That's the theme that was on display this spring. There were flashes of good and bad, and Coach Chryst hopes the good play stays.
You can't be the other stuff without being efficient, without taking care of the ball. And I thought, you know, throughout spring there was times and days where it was good, and I thought there was times where it got, where you say that can't be, you know, and if it's reinforced in April, okay, but, you know, I think there's also a false reality in that you can't keep making the same mistakes.
And we'll be right back.
Refresh your home this spring with the perfect door update from Menards. Choose from the best in-stock selection of Mastercraft doors or design your door your way with our door designer. And get free shipping to the store in approximately 7 days. Let fresh air in this spring while keeping bugs out with a durable and easy-to-install replacement screen. Get 11% off all replacement screen and Mastercraft doors now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's like I'm downloading in slow motion. Wish we had better internet.
Charlie!
That's right. It's me, Charlie. Wish specialist for Spectrum. Let's get that wish granted.
How?
Spectrum Internet delivers speeds of 200 megabits for a stronger connection on all your devices. Here, yeah, and here. Plus, get a free modem and free desktop security to keep your kids safe online.
Get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month. Call 833-768-4999.
Why do we need all these remotes? I wish our shows were in one place.
Spectrum TV makes it easy to find your favorites. Plus, you'll have access to over 85,000 titles on demand. And with the free Spectrum TV app, you can watch live sports, news, and more on any device, anywhere.
Get Spectrum TV for $49.99 a month. Call 833-768-4999.
I wish we didn't have a contract. Granted.
Oh, he's good. Switch to Spectrum Internet or TV, or get them both for $49.99 a month each, all with no contracts. Call 833-768-4999.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Exciting things call for a drum roll, like this new offer on one of Wisconsin's favorite lotto games. It's Super Cash with Lightning Ball. During April, there's a 1 in 3 chance that the Lightning Ball strikes a set of 2 plays. When it does, players get an extra number, which means better odds of winning a prize. Top prize not included. Only in April. This exciting offer from the Wisconsin Lottery is going fast.
This is Connie Ryan of Ryan Funeral Homes. While things have changed, it's still necessary for families to stay connected. And when it comes to the loss of a loved one, it's important to process and grieve and honor your loved one in a way that keeps everyone safe. We're doing this through intimate services and private virtual streaming so your family can be part of the service no matter where they are. Ryan Funeral Homes are here with your safety in mind and compassionate care in your time of need.
Every day, News 3 Now investigates. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Finally tonight, a 100-year-old man from southern Brazil has entered the Guinness Book of World Records for working the longest in the same company, 84 years with the same company. Despite his extraordinary accomplishment, Walter Orthman's advice for those looking for a long and fulfilling professional life are surprisingly routine. Do what you love and stay away from junk food. According to local media, Orthman started on the factory floor on the fabrics company. Soon after, he moved into administration, eventually becoming a sales manager. And to keep sharp, he stretches daily and watches his diet. How many years have you been here?
It'll be 32 years in September, so I've got, what, 54 years or 52
closing in on Walter. You're closing in. You and I don't follow the same advice, though.
We don't stay away from the junk food either, but that's another story.
How about the forecast for the weekend?
Well, that should look pretty nice for tomorrow. Live from the Edgewater Skycam, not raining here. Showers and storms now out over Lake Michigan, moving away from us. Madison near 50. It's warmer to the south and west. Temperatures will rise overnight. 78 for a high tomorrow. But then those temperatures crash again back into the 40s early next week.
Jordan's like, listen to these two old guys over here.
No.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.